Good morning to all. Now we are getting into an biochemistry topic, nutrition. Okay, nutrition பார்த்தோம்னா you have vitamins. Okay, at the same time minerals and some other topics are there. Finally, in vitamins we have main two different classification. One is in a fat soluble vitamins and the other one is nothing but the water soluble vitamins. Now we are heading towards the fat soluble vitamins. Okay, in fat soluble vitamins, we know about that A, D, E, and K are the fat soluble vitamins, whereas the rest of the vitamins will be water soluble vitamins. Okay, in fat soluble vitamins, today we are going to see about the vitamin K. In upcoming videos, you will see the rest of the vitamins. Okay, vitamin K. Whatever may be the vitamin. Okay, நம்ம vitamin whenever you get into a vitamin அப்படின்னு ஒரு கொஸ்டின் எடுத்துக்கிட்டோ அல்லது ஒரு டாபிக் எடுத்துக்கிட்டோ அப்படின்னா these are the subheadings you have to come across. Okay, introduction, chemistry, absorption and storage, biochemical role, vitamin K dependent carboxylase, deficiency. In deficiency, two topics or subtopics are there. ஒன்று வந்து காசஸ், இன்னொன்று வந்து என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா கிளினிக்கல் மேனிஃபெஸ்டேஷன்ஸ் அண்ட் டெய்லி ரெக்குவயர்மெண்ட்ஸ், சோர்சஸ் அண்ட் ஹைப்பர் விட்டமினோசஸ். So for remembering these topics, I mean, I have said that all vitamins have a same topic, right? So I have framed the mnemonics for this, and that is here. Is daily a cab becomes a very definite mode for him. Here this caps letters are there, right? And these are the mnemonics. I mean these stands, I mean in the caps தான் வந்து லெட்டராக வந்து யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்கோம். I stands for introduction, S stands for sources, and D for daily requirement, and C for chemistry, A for absorption, B for biochemistry, V for vitamin K dependent carboxylase, and D for deficiency. In deficiency, two topics are there, right? And we can consider this as a causes and this is as a manifestation. And here H stands for hypervitaminosis. இந்த hypervitaminosis அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து எதில் இருக்கும் அப்படின்னா ஃபேட் சால்பிள் விட்டமின்ஸில் மட்டும்தான் இருக்கும். In water soluble vitamins you cannot find hypervitaminosis. Why? Because the storage. இங்கே வந்து ஸ்டோரேஜ் அப்படிங்கிற விஷயம் வந்து ஃபேட் சால்பிள் விட்டமின்ஸில் மட்டும்தான் இருக்கும். வாட்டர் சால்யூபிள் விட்டமின்ஸ்லாம் மேக்ஸிமம் எக்ஸ்க்ரீட் ஆகிடும். ஓகேவா? ஓகே ஃபைன். சரி, நம்ம டாபிக் உள்ள போகலாம். இன்ட்ரொடக்ஷன் இன் திஸ் கேஸ், அந்த விட்டமின் கே அப்படிங்கிறதெல்லாம் அந்த கே ஸ்டாண்ட்ஸ் ஃபார் என்னென்னா கொயாகுலேஷன் விட்டமின் அப்படின்னு சொல்கிறாங்க. ஓகேவா? இந்த விட்டமின் எல்லாமே நாப்தகுயினோன், நாப்தலின் ப்ளஸ் குயினோன் அந்த மாதிரி ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கோங்க. நாப்தகுயினோன் derivatives with the isoprenoid side chain. Okay, this is an isoprenoid side chain, thus R stands. Okay, and then fat soluble vitamin. I have previously said that vitamin K is a fat soluble one. Okay, டெய்லி ரெக்குவயர்மெண்ட் சோர்ஸ். நான் ஆக்சுவலி இந்த டாபிக்ஸ் எல்லாமே அந்த நிமோனிக்ஸ் பேசிஸில் வச்சுருக்கேன். நான் முன்னாடி சப்டைட்டில்ஸ், ஐ மீன் அப்ஜெக்டிவ்ஸ் பார்த்தீங்கன்னா அந்த மாதிரி இருக்காது. பட் நான் சரி ஓகே அந்த மோட்லேயே போகலாம் அப்படிங்கிறதுக்காக வச்சுருக்கேன். டெய்லி ரெக்குவயர்மெண்ட்ஸ் அண்ட் சோர்ஸ் ஒரு நாளைக்கு வந்து எவ்வளோ தேவைப்படுது அப்படின்னா 50 to 100 மைக்ரோகிராம்ஸ். ஓகேவா? இட் இஸ் யூஸ்வலி மெட் வித் அவர் டயட்ஸ். ஓகே, நம்ம சாப்பிட்ற டயட்டில் பேசிக் டயட்லேயே வந்து விட்டமின் கே இஸ் வெல் இனஃப் அண்ட் சாட்டிஸ்ஃபைடு. Here the source is mainly the green leafy vegetables. And one more thing, இந்த விட்டமின் கே அப்படிங்கிற விஷயம் வந்து எதில் அப்படின்னா இன்டெஸ்டைனில் வந்து பாக்டீரியாஸ்னால சிந்தசிஸ் ஆகும். We know some of the bacteria. A well-known bacteria that is found in intestine is none other than Escherichia coli. ஸோ Escherichia coliயும் விட்டமின் கேவை வந்து சிந்தசைஸ் பண்ணுது. ஓகேவா? நெக்ஸ்ட் ஐ அண்ட் எஸ் இஸ் கான், டி இஸ் ஆல்சோ கான், தட் இஸ் டெய்லி. ஓகே, அண்ட் தென் CAP, C for stands for chemistry. Here chemistry, vitamin K அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து ரெண்டாக கிளாஸிஃபை பண்ணுறாங்க, விட்டமின் K1 அண்ட் விட்டமின் K2. ஓகேவா? அதை பற்றி பின்னாடி பார்ப்போம். In addition to this, there is a special vitamin, ஓகேவா, that is a synthetic one. Okay, and that is named as menadione, and it is usually used in the clinical practice. We cannot get a natural vitamin, so we are using the substitute as a synthetic one, that is in a clinical administrationsக்கு யூஸ் பண்ணுறாங்க. And the other thing is water soluble synthetic vitamin, and they are fat soluble. The menadione is a water soluble. Okay, A for absorption. Say before this vitamin K1 and K2. The other name for vitamin K1 is phylloquinone, The other name for vitamin K2 is methaquinone. It contains 20 carbon atoms, it contains 30 carbon atoms. It is discovered by Henry Dam, and this is discovered by Edward Dawsey. I have previously mentioned here, if you notice, you can find it. For vitamin K1, it is 20 carbon atom, vitamin K2 30, and the menadione is H. Okay, that's it. Absorption and storage. When we get into an absorption, it is absorbed from our daily diet. Okay, that is with the along with the chylomicrons. What is meant by chylomicrons? Have you remembered it? அதாவது வந்து chylomicrons is nothing but the emulsified fat. It results in the formation of micelles, and that is absorbed in the form of chylomicrons. Okay, va? Okay, the bile salts is required for the normal absorption. Here you have to notice one thing. For emulsification of fat, the bile salts plays an important role, and that's why we can say that the absorption of vitamin K, I mean normal absorption of vitamin K also requires the bile salts. Besides our daily diet and absorption and so and so, I have previously said in the daily requirement and sources, I have previously said about this, the intestinal bacteria will synthesize the vitamin K. Okay, okay, these are the things. Absorption, one is absorbed from the chylomicrons, that is from the fat absorption, and the other thing is it is synthesized in the intestine by means of an intestinal bacteria. When we enter into a storage, it is stored in the liver. Okay, and it is transported in the plasma in association with the beta lipoprotein. This is in a carrier proteins. Okay, in usually the plasma proteins has in a various carrier proteins like ferritin, ceruloplasmin, and so and so. They are associated with one particular function. For example, ferritin carries the ions. Okay, and as well as ceruloplasmin copper ions. In the same way here, the vitamin K is transported with the help of an beta lipoprotein. Okay, and biochemical role. In this biochemical role, usually the vitamin K plays a vital role in the coagulation process. And the blood clotting is also a very topic. In that, the vitamin K plays a very important role. Okay, we know the factors, right? Nearly 12 or 13 factors is there. Coagulation factors. In that, 2, 7, 9, and 10. You can remember this as 2 plus 7 is equal to 9, and the next number is 10. Okay, and one more thing, better remember these names. Factor 2 is for prothrombin, and the factor 7 is stable or proconvertin. Factor 9 is Christmas factor, and the factor 10 is Stewart power factor. Okay, these are the factors that is synthesized. Usually they are synthesized by means of a liver. Okay, and every factor that is synthesized in the liver will be an inactive form. Okay, that is in the form of inactive zymosin granules. I have mentioned in the bold letters inactive zymosin granules, and it will undergoes a post translational modification for the activation. And you are well known about this. In stomach there will be a production of pepsin in the form of pepsinogen, and it gets converted into pepsin with the help of HCl. In the similar way, it is produced in the inactive zymosin granules, and it will get converted into an active form. இந்த ஆக்டிவ் ஃபார்மாக மாறுறதுக்கு ஒரு ரியாக்ஷன் நடக்குது. அது வந்து நான் பின்னாடி சொல்கிறேன். அந்த ரியாக்ஷனில் அந்த என்ன ரியாக்ஷன் சொன்னல, தட் இஸ் காமா கார்பாக்சிலேஷன் ஆஃப் glutamic residues. இந்த glue residues is here stands for glutamic acid residues. ஓகேவா, and in this process vitamin K acts as a cofactor. Okay, well known. Okay, next, gamma carboxylation of glutamic acid reaction. This is here, you know one thing, the glutamic acid is in a acidic amino acids. It has a 2 COOH group. You can find here one. It is involved, one COOH group is involved in the formation of peptide bonds, and the other COO group is it is founded here. And then one more thing, I have said gamma. Here you can see this is alpha, and this is beta, and this is gamma. This is alpha, beta, and this is gamma. Okay, this is called gamma carboxyglutamic acid synthesis. In this, the gamma plays is found with என்ன அப்படின்னா COO group. ஓகேவா? In this reaction the enzyme called as vitamin K dependent carboxylase. நான் உங்ககிட்ட முன்னாடியே சொல்லியிருந்தேன். ஐ மீன் விட்டமின் கே டிபெண்டன்ட், அந்த வெறிக்கு வந்து நம்ம நிமோனிக்ஸில் பார்த்தோம்ல, அந்த வெறி அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு வந்து விட்டமின் கே டிபெண்டன்ட் கார்பாக்ஸ்லேஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது தான் மீனிங். அந்த என்சைம் வந்து ரொம்பவே இம்பார்ட்டண்ட். இன் அடிஷன் டு திஸ் கார்பாக்சிலேஷன் ரியாக்ஷன், ஸோ CO2 + O2 இதெல்லாம் நடக்குது. இந்த காமா கார்பாக்சிலேஷனுக்கு அப்புறமா கால்சியம் என்னது? தட் இஸ் அ ஃபோர்த் கோயாகுலேஷன் ஃபேக்டர். ஓகேவா? அதெல்லாம் இருந்தால் தானே கோயாகுலேஷன் நடக்கும். ஸோ கால்சியம் வந்து பைண்ட் ஆகும் இதில் அப்படின்றத சொல்லியிருப்பாங்க. ஓகே, இந்த விட்டமின் கே டிபெண்டன்ட் கார்பாக்சிலேஸ் அப்படிங்கிறது வந்து என்ன அப்படின்னா, இது வந்து ஒரு மைக்ரோசோமல் என்சைம். இதுக்கு வந்து 4 டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ஃபேக்டர்ஸ் வந்து ரொம்பவே இம்பார்ட்டண்ட். ஒன் இஸ் CO2, O2, reduced vitamin K. You have to note this, that is reduced vitamin K. Okay, and the other thing is NADPH. Okay, ஆக்சுவலி ஒரு ரியாக்ஷன் நார்மலாக இருக்குன்னா சும்மா விட மாட்டாங்களே. ஸோ தேர் வில் பி அன் காம்படிட்டிவ் இன்ஹிபிஷன் பை தி வெரஃபின் அண்ட் டைக்யோமெரால். ஓகேவா? தே ஆர் ஸ்ட்ரக்சரலி similar to that of vitamin K. So it will inhibit the reaction and it won't allow the inactive form to get converted into an active form. And I will explain that reaction later. This is a biochemical activity. நம்ம முன்னாடி சொன்னோம்ல, அது விட்டமின் கேக்காக ஒரு சின்ன ஸ்லைட். Biochemical activity அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது the calcium ions will get binded to the, I have previously said this, the calcium is then a factor, fourth factor, and it gets binded to the gamma carboxylated glutamic acid. ஓகேவா? இதெல்லாம் ஒரு பக்கம் இருக்குது. இதெல்லாம் வந்து ஒரு ரியாக்ஷன்ஸ். இன் அடிஷன் டு திஸ் தெர் இஸ் 2 டிஃப்ரெண்ட் ஃபங்க்ஷன்ஸ். ஐ மீன் இந்த காமா கார்பாக்சிலேஷன் நடக்கிறதுனால 2 விஷயம் நடக்குது. ஒன்று வந்து என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா ஃபங்க்ஷனிங் ஆஃப் ஆஸ்டியோகிளாசின். ஓகேவா? அண்ட் தி அதர் திங் இஸ் நத்திங் பட் த ஃபங்க்ஷனிங் ஆஃப் த ஸ்ட்ரக்சரல் ப்ரோட்டன்ஸ் ஆஃப் கிட்னி, லங்ஸ் அண்ட் ஸ்ப்ளீன். ஓகே, இந்த ஆஸ்டியோகிளாசின் அப்படின்னா என்ன? Is in a protein form. Okay, it is with the 40 to 50 amino acids, and it is produced by the osteoblast cells, and it is seen only in the bone. Okay, இது வந்து actually this is gets binded with the hydroxypeptide crystals of a bone, and it I mean the binding capacity, I mean the strong, whenever the degree of gamma carboxylation is more, the binding, I mean that it will gets binded tightly, the degree, and it is directly proportional. The strength of the bond and the degree of gamma carboxylation is directly proportional. Okay, and then as it contains hydroxyproline, and the osteoclastin வந்து இந்த இதை மட்டும் கண்டெயின் பண்ணல. ஓகேவா? இந்த விட்டமின் ஐ மீன் காமா கார்பாக்சிலேஷன் மட்டும் இல்லை, இதில் வந்து ஹைட்ராக்சிப்ரோலைன் கிறிஸ்டல்ஸ் இருக்கிறனால என்ன அப்படின்னு பார்த்தீங்கன்னா, it will depends on vitamin C as well as K. Vitamin C, it depends on, because of hydroxyproline, it depends on vitamin C. Actually the gamma carboxylation occurs, so it depends on vitamin K. And one more thing is, it is the synthesis of this particular osteoclastin is stimulated by means of a vitamin D. Okay, in case of osteoclastin you have to remember these points. It is produced by osteoblast cells, and it is seen only in the bone cells, and it does a protein with 40 to 50 amino acid chains, and then it gets tightly binds with the hydroxypeptide crystals in the bone, and the degree of gamma carboxylation is directly proportional to the binding strength of the osteoclastin to hydroxypeptide crystals. And in addition to this, it contains the hydroxyproline, that is so that it depends on vitamin C. Okay, as gamma carboxylation occurs, it depends on vitamin K, but the synthesis of osteoclastin is stimulated by means of vitamin D. Okay, deficiency, I have said previously, deficiency is of 2 different subtopics. One is causes, and the another one is nothing but the manifestations. Okay, let jump into the causes. Actually we won't meet the deficiency of vitamin K because besides diet, in our body, I mean in our intestine, there will be a synthesis of vitamin K, right, by the intestinal bacteria. So the deficiency, I mean the synthesis of the vitamin K by the intestinal bacteria will cope up the daily requirements, so there won't be any deficiency, though it happens. Okay, இதெல்லாம் ஒரு பக்கம் நடந்தாலும் sometime there will be a malabsorption of fat. Yeah, you know it, some problems will be there. It may be with the bile salts or some other problems that is related to the absorption of fat. In that cases, what are the things that is going to happen in this? I mean, what is meant by sprue? Sprue is depends upon the diet. That is with the fiber content and so on. I mean, that is based on the diet, okay? And then obstructive jaundice. Obstructive jaundice in the sense that the it is in a post hepatic, okay? Obstructive jaundice, there won't be any secretion of the bile, and bile, if with the help of the bile it will get absorption. I mean, bile salts causes emulsification of fat and then it will get absorbed. அதான அப்படிதானே நடக்கும். So obstructive jaundiceல fat absorption will not be proper. And then chronic pancreatitis in the pancreatic enzymes, so it won't get converted, the fat won't get converted into fatty acids and something, so and so things. So these are the causes for the malabsorption of fat. The two causes that causes vanishing of intestinal bacteria. Now diet, okay fine, if our diet doesn't contain vitamin K, our intestinal bacteria is producing, I mean synthesizing the vitamin K to meet our needs, okay. In some cases the intestinal bacteria will get vanished or destroyed, okay. What are they அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம் அப்படின்னா, you have two different things: prolonged antibiotic treatment, okay va, and gastrointestinal infection. Gastrointestinal infection along with diarrhea, okay. These are the two causes that causes the vanishing of bacterial flora, okay. I have previously mentioned about the sprue, right? What is meant by sprue அப்படின்னா, actually that is an immune allergic reaction, okay. That immune allergy that is caused by means of gluten. அந்த குளூட்டன்கிற விஷயம் வந்து எதில் அதிகமாக இருக்கும் அப்படின்னு பார்த்தோம்னா வீட்டோட இதில் வந்து அதிகமாக இருக்கும். ஸோ வெனவர் வி ஆர் இன்டேக்கிங் that in a higher amounts, okay, that will causes an immune allergic reaction, and that allergic reaction will affect the normal absorption of nutrients from the small intestine. That is the reason for the malabsorption, okay. And besides this everything, to meet the requirements of the patient, we are using the synthetic vitamin. I have previously mentioned about it, vitamin K, okay. Deficiency of a clinical manifestation. Actually I have classified this, okay. Vitamin I mean deficiency manifestation for infants and deficiency manifestation for clinical child and adults, okay. And deficiency manifestation of infants, okay. Mainly this attributes to an infant causes hemorrhagic diseases, okay. And besides this, it mainly affects the premature babies. Why the premature babies are affected means, you have lower hepatic stores, okay. Actually the vitamin K is not synthesized enough, one thing, and there won't be any development of an intestinal bacterial flora, so that the hepatic storage of the vitamin K is quite less, okay. And I have mentioned it, absence of intestinal flora. And the third thing is lower oral intake, okay. Whenever the infant comes to birth, it will it is fed up with the breast milk, right. The breast milk has a value of about, the breast milk has a value of about 15 milligram per deciliter, okay. When an infant is getting fed up with the breast milk, the capacity of the infant's stomach is nearly 30 to 50 ml, okay. So it cannot be fed up with that much, okay. So அந்த வேல்யூ வந்து ரொம்பவே கம்மியாக தான் இருக்கும், ஓகே. ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி நீட்ஸை வந்து மீட் பண்ணுறதுக்கு we are giving the prophylactic dose of menodion, okay, of about 1 milligram per day அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு ரேட்டில் வந்து we are giving the prophylactic dose of menodion, okay. These are the clinical manifestations that is for infants. When we get into a child and adults, yeah, there will be any characters like bruising tendency. What is meant by bruising tendency? Bruising tendency here is nothing but patches that appears in the skin with a purple or bluish color one, okay. And ecchymotic patches, same, it is otherwise called as purpura or bruising, same thing, okay. These are, I mean, bruising tendency is also similar to that of ecchymotic patches, and the ecchymotic patches is nothing but the patch which is purple in color, okay. And mucous membrane hemorrhage, nasal bleeding, internal bleeding, post-traumatic bleeding. Why? Because everything is associated with bleeding. Why? Because vitamin K is associated with the coagulation. Okay, so because of that reason, bleeding occurs. Okay, and then you will be observing two main characters. Okay, one is prolongation of prothrombin time and the prolongation of clotting time. Okay, well, the prothrombin time is measured basically actually for identifying or measuring to diagnose the function of liver. Okay, whether the liver is functioning properly or not, and in that case we will use to measure the pt value. Okay, the administration of vitamin substitutes with the deficient functioning of liver becomes useless. Okay, if we think that it is the prothrombin time is very long, so we may think the fault is with vitamin k, and we are administrating the synthetic vitamin k. And if we if there is a problem with the liver, okay, if we administrate vitamin k, that is useless. Okay, and one more thing they are saying about this, pt should be measured before and after administration of vitamin k during the surgery of obstructive jaundice. Yeah, இப்போ அப்ஸ்ட்ரக்டிவ் ஜாண்டிஸ் பொறுத்த வரையும் என்னென்னா, இப்போ பிடி கொடுத்துட்டு பிஃபோர் அண்ட் ஆஃப்டர் மெஷர் பண்ணும்போது, இஃப் ரியலி தட் இஸ் விட்டமின் கே டெஃபிஷியன்சி, த prothrombin time will decrease. But if the function is with the the problem is with the liver, the prothrombin time will remain same. So if in that cases we can proceed the surgery. If it is a vitamin k deficiency, so there is no problem, we can stop over there. அது மாதிரி தான். Okay, and varafin and dicomerol is used as an anticoagulant. இதை ஏன் anticoagulant சொல்கிறாங்க? I have said previously one thing, it is a competitive inhibitor of a vitamin K dependent carboxylase. அப்படி தானே? Actually the vitamin K dependent carboxylase is an enzyme that usually happens in the gamma carboxylase glutamic acid synthesis அப்படிங்கிற ஒரு ரியாக்ஷனில் வந்து நடக்கும். GCG. Okay, GCG synthesis. In this case, the gamma carboxylated glutamic acid is responsible for the coagulation. Okay, why? Because the calcium will get binded with that. So அந்த மாதிரி ரியாக்ஷன்ஸ்லாம் நடக்குது. So in that case, the varafin and dicomerol will inhibit that particular enzyme. So there won't be any gamma carboxylation and there won't be any binding of calcium, so that the coagulation will not happen. Okay, these are the things. And fetal varafin syndrome. What is meant by fetal varafin syndrome? If a pregnant lady, okay, is treated with varafin அப்படின்னு சொல்லும்போது, it will leads to the bone deformities to the fetus. Okay, and it will causes the characters you can observe in the picture, the saddle nose, retarded growth, the eye openings will be quite small. Okay, that is the problems defects with eyes. And then you see saddle nose, eye openings are very small. Okay, and the growth will be totally retarded one. And then the defects of limbs and so on. Okay, radiological picture will shows about the defects of limbs. Okay, and then hypervitaminosis. Actually the hypervitaminosis is the result, it causes hemolysis, hyperbilirubinemia, kernicterus, brain damage. Usually you can remember this, hemolysis. Because of hemolysis it leads to hyperbilirubinemia. Hyperbilirubinemia causes a kernicterus. What is meant by kernicterus? It is a temporary brain damage that is caused by because of the bilirubin content is high in the blood. Okay, and this is the reason, and it causes a brain damage. Higher doses of menadoin also leads to toxicity. Okay, toxicity is usually synthetic vitamin k nalume it is similar to that of the vitamin k, so its higher doses will leads to toxicity, that is hypervitaminosis. Okay, and finally we came to the end of the lesson, that is vitamin k. நான் உங்கள்கிட்ட முன்னாடியே சொன்னேன்ல, actually you can remember this from oxidized vitamin k, that is in here. Okay, this is a normal vitamin k. Okay, this normal vitamin k will get reduced, actually. Okay, will get reduced, that is an NADPH will get converted into NADP. Here the enzyme used is vitamin k reductase. in the reduced vitamin K இருக்குல்ல, இந்த reduced vitamin K is required for the reaction. That is the vitamin K dependent carboxylase enzyme ஓட needs வந்து, that is it needs four different components. One is CO2, O2, NADPH. Actually they have mentioned together in this, and reduced vitamin K. Okay, the four factors O2, CO2 and the reduced vitamin K is here, so that it converts the glutamic acid into gamma carboxyglutamic acid. Okay, in the reaction nadandada coagulation nadakkum. Okay, as the vitamin K is an catalyst, it is regenerated, but in the form of epoxide. Okay, epoxide form irukum, and epoxide reductase. This is an important MCQ here. The epoxide form of vitamin K gets converted into an oxidized form of vitamin K by means of an epoxide reductase, and here the varafin and the dicomural will inhibits the reaction. If it inhibits here, there won't be any further oxidation of vitamin K, and there won't be any conversion, and there won't be any coagulation. The total cycle will be stopped here because of this particular reason. And totally we can say the vitamin K is responsible for the coagulation here. Okay, I hope everyone can understand this reaction. I will repeat it once again. Actually, this is a normal vitamin K. Okay, it is get reduced to a reduced vitamin K, and it is called as hydroquinone. With the help of a vitamin K reductase enzyme, and the NADPH will get converted into an NADP. Okay, fine. This is I kept this aside. Okay, you have a vitamin K reduced vitamin K, O2 and CO2. I have previously mentioned about the gamma carboxylation reaction, right? And this reaction, glutamic acid will gets converted into an gamma carboxyglutamate. In this reaction, it requires four different components. One is CO2, O2, and reduced vitamin K and NADPH. In the NADPH, that is particularly required for the reduction of vitamin K to reduced vitamin K. So you can leave that. O2, CO2 and reduced vitamin K is responsible, so that the reaction is proceeded and it occurs, the gamma carboxylation reaction occurs. So you don't consider that reaction in this cycle. Okay, and then this will convert it into an epoxide. As it is a catalyst, you know about the catalyst, right? Every catalyst will not take part in the reaction. At last it will get regenerated. In this way it is regenerated, but in the form of epoxide, and it again converts into a vitamin K with the help of an epoxide reductase. And here varafin and dicomeral is inhibitors here. Okay, that's it. That is about the reaction. If it inhibits here, the total cycle will be blocked. And okay, fine, see you soon, and thank you for watching this video, and there is upcoming videos are really waiting for you, and see you soon back. And this is me, Saran, signing off from Pakkanapati.